Before the fame, before the millions of subscribers, and long before the global headlines, Logan Paul was just a young kid from Westlake, Ohio, a dreamer with a camera and a belief that he could make people laugh. He wasn't born into wealth or connections. What he had was energy, creativity, and an unshakable confidence that someday the world would notice him. Growing up in a small Midwestern town, Logan was an athlete, excelling in wrestling and football, but deep down, he felt there was more to life than what surrounded him. He was fascinated by the idea of building something from nothing, of turning attention into art and passion into purpose. In high school, while his classmates were focused on typical teenage pursuits, Logan was experimenting with the early days of online video creation. It was the dawn of a new era. Social media was still finding its place in the world, and few realized its potential. But Logan did. He started uploading funny skits and stunts to a platform called Vine, a 6-second video app that allowed users to showcase their creativity in lightning-fast bursts. It was the perfect playground for his wild imagination and comedic instincts. Within months, his videos were going viral, and his follower count exploded. People weren't just watching, they were sharing, quoting, and imitating him. Logan had discovered the new currency of fame, virality. But with attention came responsibility, and at just 19, Logan found himself navigating a world that few people his age could handle. He moved to Los Angeles, the city of dreams and broken dreams alike. It was a bold move, leaving behind the safety of home for the unpredictability of Hollywood. Yet Logan arrived with determination and a mission, to become not just an internet personality, but a brand, a household name. While others saw social media as a hobby, he treated it like a business. He studied analytics, trends, and audience psychology. Every post, every video, every caption was part of a bigger plan, to build an empire of influence. And it worked. Within a few short years, Logan Paul became one of the most recognized names on the internet. His content was everywhere, from Vine compilations to YouTube videos that garnered millions of views in hours. He expanded into acting, appearing in TV shows and films, and began selling merchandise that fans across the world wore with pride. To many, he embodied the new generation of entrepreneurship, where creativity met hustle. He was young, rich, famous, and unstoppable. But as with all rapid rises, shadows lurked beneath the spotlight. The fame that came so easily also brought immense pressure. Logan was constantly under scrutiny, and the line between entertainment and controversy blurred dangerously. Then came the moment that nearly destroyed everything he built, the infamous 2017 incident in Japan's Aokigahara forest. It was a mistake that would change his life forever. When Logan Paul walked out of the Mayweather fight, he wasn't the same person who had once sought attention through outrageous stunts. The world had seen him take punches from one of the greatest boxers alive and stand tall, literally and symbolically. That match wasn't just a fight, it was his redemption in motion. For Logan, that night marked the end of one chapter and the beginning of another, a chapter defined by self-mastery, business innovation, and legacy building. Behind the spotlight, Logan had always been a visionary. Even in his early YouTube days, he didn't just want fame, he wanted to create something that lasted. He studied the way moguls thought, reading books, surrounding himself with successful entrepreneurs, and learning how to turn popularity into sustainable power. Fame was fleeting, but value was forever. This realization became the foundation of his next great venture, a brand that would disrupt industries and rewrite the rulebook of influencer entrepreneurship. That brand was Prime. In partnership with KSI, his once fierce rival turned business ally, Logan co-founded Prime Hydration, a sports drink that took the world by storm. What started as a simple idea quickly evolved into a billion-dollar empire. The story of Prime wasn't just about creating another beverage, it was about redefining what influence could achieve. The collaboration between Logan and KSI was historic in itself. Two men who had once traded punches now joined forces to build something revolutionary. It was a symbol of maturity, growth, and the ability to turn rivalry into opportunity. When Prime launched, critics laughed. They called it another celebrity gimmick, predicting it would fade like most influencer products. But Logan and KSI knew better. They didn't just market Prime, they engineered it to win. Their strategy was genius. They positioned the brand directly against industry giants like Gatorade and Powerade, using the power of digital influence, viral marketing, and authenticity. They didn't spend millions on traditional ads, they used their social reach and personalities as marketing machines. Every video, every podcast mention, every Instagram post was a strategic move in a larger chess game. Within months, Prime became a global phenomenon. Supermarkets sold out. Kids lined up to get bottles. It wasn't just a drink, it became a status symbol, a piece of pop culture. And that's what made Prime different. It wasn't built by corporations in boardrooms, it was built by creators who understood their audience. Logan had turned his online presence into a modern-day marketing empire, proving that the new generation of entrepreneurs didn't need Wall Street connections, they needed creativity, courage, and consistency. As Prime's success exploded, Logan's reputation transformed even further. The world began to see him not as the impulsive YouTuber of the past but as a serious businessman and innovator. Logan Paul's story is one of the most unpredictable, dramatic, and inspiring transformations in modern entertainment history, a tale of a man who refused to be defined by his mistakes and instead turned every downfall into a stepping stone toward greatness. Born in 1995 in Westlake, Ohio, Logan wasn't born into fame or wealth, he was born with a relentless drive, a wild imagination, and an unshakable desire to be seen and heard. As a kid, he spent hours making funny videos with his brother Jake, experimenting with a camera and a dream. Nobody could have predicted that those early clips filmed in his backyard would one day turn him into one of the most recognizable and wealthiest creators in the world. His journey started on Vine, the 6-second video app that changed the game for a generation of creators. Logan's humor, energy, and fearlessness made him an instant star, gathering millions of followers who couldn't get enough of his outlandish comedy. But fame came quickly, and so did the pressures that came with it. When Vine shut down, Logan didn't quit. He pivoted, moving to YouTube, and within a year, he became one of the platform's biggest sensations. His daily vlogs were chaotic, entertaining, and full of energy that captured a generation's attention. Every video was a roller coaster, full of stunts, laughter, pranks, and raw authenticity. But with that massive spotlight came a storm that nearly ended his career. In 2017, Logan faced one of the biggest controversies in YouTube history, a mistake that brought his empire crashing down overnight. The world turned on him. Brands cut ties. Fans left. Critics said he was finished. But what most people didn't see was the man behind the mistake, broken, humbled, and determined to change. Instead of quitting, Logan went silent, then rebuilt himself from scratch. He studied, reflected, apologized, and committed to growth. He started new ventures, took up boxing, and faced his demons head-on. When he stepped into the boxing ring against KSI, millions tuned in not just for the fight but to witness his comeback. That match wasn't just about punches, it was about redemption. The world watched as Logan transformed from a controversial YouTuber into a disciplined athlete, entrepreneur, and visionary. After boxing, Logan didn't stop. He co-founded Prime Hydration with KSI, and within months, it exploded into one of the fastest-growing sports drink brands in the world, making millions and rivaling giants like Gatorade. What started as an internet rivalry became a billion-dollar partnership. Logan proved that reinvention isn't just possible, it's powerful. His business empire grew beyond YouTube, from Maverick Apparel to Prime, from podcasts to professional wrestling in WWE. Logan showed that creativity and resilience could coexist with accountability and business acumen. He turned failure into his greatest teacher. Even after proving himself in multiple arenas, Logan Paul refused to settle, because in his mind, comfort was the first step toward decline. He saw fame as a fragile bubble, one that could burst any second if he stopped evolving. That's why he shifted his focus from pure entertainment to empowerment. He started emphasizing discipline, mental strength, and ambition in his podcasts, letting people see that behind the showman was a strategist, a thinker, and a relentless learner. In interviews, he often admitted to his early arrogance and ignorance, calling it his tuition fee to wisdom. He understood that real success wasn't about perfection, it was about growth, accountability, and the courage to evolve in front of millions. And that courage turned him from a controversial figure into a global inspiration. Logan's brand, Prime, became a symbol of that evolution, not just an energy drink, but a statement of how far focus and partnership can take a person. When he collaborated with KSI, his former rival, it wasn't just business, it was a message to the world that even enemies can turn into allies when maturity replaces ego. Together, they transformed competition into collaboration, turning fights into financial empires and rivalries into global respect. Prime didn't just sell, it dominated markets. Shelves emptied within hours, schools buzzed about it, and social media couldn't stop talking. But Logan never called it luck, he called it leverage. Leverage of reputation, consistency, and the power of reinvention. But perhaps what made Logan's journey truly remarkable was how he handled redemption. Most people who fall publicly try to hide or rebrand quietly, but Logan did it in front of the world, loudly, authentically, and with purpose. He didn't delete his past, he confronted it. He didn't pretend he never made mistakes, he used them as stepping stones. That's what made people believe in him again, not because he was flawless, but because he was fearlessly human. And in that humanity, he became something more powerful than an influencer. He became a symbol of comeback culture, the living proof that anyone can rise from the ashes if they have the discipline to rebuild and the humility to learn. Even as he became a millionaire, boxer, podcaster, and entrepreneur, Logan's hunger didn't fade. He set bigger goals, not just personal milestones, but legacies. He started mentoring young creators, teaching them how to turn creativity into sustainability. He talked about burnout, mental health, and how fame can destroy those who chase it without grounding. The boy who once lived for clicks now lived for contribution. His story began as entertainment but turned into a masterclass in transformation. Every episode of his podcast, Impulsive, revealed a more mature, reflective version of him, one who was not chasing validation but building value.